Greetings, fellow engineers. Rodamont here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan. Episode 56, Building a Rocket Control Room. The next part of this was the desire to add volume. So, I should get red, white, and yellow paints because I am sure there's going to be more to paint. And then I'm going to add a little bit of extra volume to these so that they can not get overpressurized and rupture as easily. So I'm going to want more utils. And I'll do a triple... I'll print up 9. Oh, is this... This isn't insulated, isn't it? And in order to just keep it nice and simple, I was planning on just, like, having the utilities poke out to the ceiling. You know, on the roof. Because there's not a lot of physical storage in the base anymore, and I don't really need to store it in line like that, so I'm not going to even bother like that. Yep, and making the triples. I mean, the triples were only added into the game, like, a few weeks ago. So this will be the triple for the CO2, and then we'll do a triple for the O2 and a triple for the hydrogen. And we'll have all the util tanks we want. Volatiles and hydrogen are basically the same. If you're wondering. I, like, use the term interchangeably because they're basically interchangeable. So you have 3, 2, and 1, so just waiting on the others to print up. For now, because I'm, like, currently using the paint, I'm just going to stack it. Because I might end up painting with some more stuff. And then I will need a few more insulator pipes. I do have the silicon for that, but just barely. And just pulling in some of those arced ingots in. Alright, this should be enough for the scope of this project. So now we have 3 spots for inline inline volume utility, and that way, like, you know, we don't get ruptures or whatever. Okay, suit on, suit up, and let's get these installed, and then I think everything I want to do before starting to work towards rockets will have been done. How much water have we made so far? 4 liters? Cool. Is there any pollutants in the... Yeah, there's a little bit of pollutants in the base. It will probably disappear on its own, because it's like micromoles or nanomoles. I don't even know what the units are for that, but I don't think I need to worry. So, here we go. Hydrogen. I think the oxygen's going to run into a bit of a problem. because the waste line is in the way, as is the line for carbon dioxide. So let's fix that. If I'm not mistaken, this is just the waste heat line. And it can be rerouted pretty easily like this. Don't believe I've, like, screwed anything up. Oh, that is misaligned. Might need one more pipe for this, but... Oh no, that should be enough. Yeah. There we go. And now the pressures of these tanks, it went from like 40 to 24 because it has just a lot more capacity. Pretty simple little fix, but it will keep things from going kablooey while we try to build up a large supply of gases in order to make rockets. And I just want to make sure that I've reconnected the waistline brown lines down here. Yeah, okay, they look fine. Because this one still connects to this one. Pipe network is 787. 787. Okay, it didn't get spliced. All right. So let's talk about rocket program, shall we? So big picture, the in-game guide is not terrible for rocketry. Big picture is you build a launch pad. And this is kind of like it's a single stage to orbit, so it doesn't have multiple phases. There's 4 types of rocket engines, and we're going to be using the pumped gas, which is the simplest, but it also has the least amount of potential thrust to weight ratio, if I'm not mistaken. But for our purposes, it should be just fine. The long and short of it is, you have a launch pad where you have the rockets, and you build fuselages containing all of the components inside the rocket, which, generally speaking, is the uplink, which allows your ground unit to communicate to the rocket. So you need a ground uplink and a rocket downlink to connect the two. Avionics, scanning, and payload. Rocket scanners are really helpful, even if it's like a mining rocket, because when you're mining with a rocket, you need to scan the things you're mining. So basically, a rocket scanner is required for just about every rocket. I can't imagine not putting one in. They don't weigh that much, and you kind of need them. As far as payload goes, there is mining, which is like ICES, and then you can do gas capture, but for the most part, we're just going to do ice mining. Now, the first rocket I plan to launch is just going to be a survey rocket. So a survey rocket, I intend to have it in orbit of Vulcan, mapping Vulcan, mostly for funsies. So the concept here is, if you're trying to deep mine the planet Vulcan here with a deep miner, the way the deep miner works is it bores downwards until it hits bedrock. And once it hits bedrock, it produces ores depending on the ore present in the bedrock. And it could be iron or copper or silver or whatever. And it will just create dirty ores periodically, generating automatic mining depending on your like XYZ coordinates. And scanning the planet will tell you, it produces a map which gives you the sort of a color-coded coordinate system of all the potential deep miners. Now, I'm not planning on deep mining. I don't think I need to, especially not on Vulcan that has like ores galore. But I wanted for the first rocket, I wanted it to be really, really, really simple, both for you and for me. Really simple because if it's really simple, you'll understand the mechanics behind it, which means my first rocket isn't going to be mining. So if it's not mining, I might as well have it be scanning. So that's the plan, is to build a, a launch platform and to set up the rockets to do the stuff that we want them to do. Now, about the individual components. What we want in our base is 2 computers. One computer with a map motherboard, so that the rocket that's up in orbit will scan the planet and produce a map for us to have. This is just for funsies, because I'm not really intending to use the map, and the map is the deep ore... Oh, shoot. I should have paused during this. All right, let me just go eat first. And then the other one is going to be the rocket motherboard for us to actually communicate with the rockets. And if all of this is confusing, don't worry. As I build it, I will step you through it, and it will make more sense as we build it out. The deep miners are infinite, yes. They're not very fast, though. They're certainly not as fast as mining up in space, but like that's a whole different thing. So then the other ones we were going to want is the a computer with the rocket control motherboard, and those are the two. So 2 computers with both map and rocket control. So on our base, there's the launch pad outside, and then there's like the computer systems that we might want inside, so that it can be inside to monitor this stuff. Which means my plan is to remove this stacker and to build a hallway here out to a launch pad out that way. One of the important things about your launch pad is it should not be close to your base. And the reason for this is when rockets try to land back on Vulcan, so if I'm like setting up miners and having them come back to deliver their ores, it's no guarantee that they land. There's a probability that they crash. You do not want crashing rockets on your base that kills you. That no thanks. So we're going to want a launch pad that is far away from our base, like at least like 3 or 4 meter units away from the base, to protect the base from catastrophe if a rocket landing fails. Yeah, so what I'm planning on doing is building a room beyond this wall here, which is going to be our like rocket control room. So current priority right now is build a rocket control room. All right. First thing we need to do is this stacker I just like threw down here. It's not actually even plugged in. This here is just going to become a hallway. This stacker I'll just put here for now. I almost never use it. We have iron walls. I'm going to do flat walls for now. So let's put up some flat walls. Oh, you know, before I do that, let's get heavier filters in all of them. Well, this volatile filter is dead. I'm going to use up the oxygen filter that we have, and then I'll change it. So heavy filter for the volatiles. Because this is a medium filter, and I have an alarm on it, so I'll notice when it dies. Whereas this doesn't have an alarm, and this doesn't have an alarm, so I won't notice if it dies. Alright, perfect. I'm still not using both filter slots now. That's intentional, and I'm not planning on changing that. I don't want to manage 2 filters, ever. Probably won't need those materials in there, but whatever. So I have a bunch of steel sheets that I'll repurpose for this. But what I'm planning on doing is putting the, a hallway out to like a rocket control room, because I also want to physically watch the launches. And, that means working windows into the design would be in my best interest as well. So I intend to implement some windows in this design as well. So I don't exactly know how many flat walls I'm going to need, but let's call that good for now. I'm going to go into the furnace room and wall the insides of the furnace so that I can remove the walls from the other side and build this out. Perfect. All right, water, CO2, N2, temperature, pressure. Everything looks normal. No issues. Power's completely full. Base has no problems. Basically, just a visual check every time I come through, just to make sure that I don't have any major setbacks from explosions or power outages or whatever. So, here is where the rocket control room is going to be. And I'm going to have a hallway out to here. And then I'm going to want, like, maybe a 2x2x2 room here in this spot. You know what? I might actually use stairs for this. Because I like the idea of being able to be up like air traffic control. So I think I will incorporate stairs into the design. This time. I don't usually. But whatever the case is, let's go ahead and remove these flat walls. And then replace them with welded walls. This is the other side of the furnace, obviously. You can see the furnace's load tanks. Whoop, not that. What is that? That's the furnace's airlock door? Yeah, we don't want to remove that out of nowhere. That would be low-key a problem. Okay, let's first weld up the floor. Solid, airtight. And then I'm going to get rid of these frames here because I think I want to incorporate stairs into the design, and I'll ascend the stairs around here at this point. Which means, well, oops. Well, these solid and then enclose them. Actually, let's build the stairs and figure out where the stairs are going to be so I can conceptualize this, because I'm having a problem, a little bit of a trouble conceptualizing it. And if I had a stair kit on me, I could figure out exactly how I wanted to build it. So, just print up some stairs real quick. I'm not going to use an elevator now. Elevators in... Are there even still elevators? I guess there are. They are so slow and they suck. Because they're so slow. And they're bulky, and they take up room, and they take up volume. They're just... they're no good. The other advantage of putting it back here is it's going to be somewhat close to where our fuel's stored. So maybe... stairs here? I could have stairs just there. Like immediate. So I might want to move this fuel. So this orange line here is fuel. And then this... I know they're both orange. This is advanced furnace exhaust. And then this is a fuel line. As you can see, it actually has fuel in it right now. I may want to move the fuel line. It like doesn't super bother me as long as the stairs are climbable, which obviously they are. I can climb up and down. So yeah, maybe we have just the full fuel line kind of chilling there. I was planning on reworking the fuel line, but I don't know. I haven't really thought that through all the way. So if I have frames here, I don't really need this frame there, so I can remove it, as this is, for as far as air tightness goes, unnecessary. Maybe I'll just leave it like that so that it doesn't look floating. Alright, so if we have the stairs here, I'm going to leave the stairs in for now. I know I'm going to have to replace them with frames and then airtight it to annex. But the idea will be that we'll want to airtight this here too. And then have a control room up here. Too high, too wide, like that. So that'll be the control room. So all of this is, you can kind of see at a glance what the control room is going to look like. And then eventually we'll have the rocket built, you know, maybe here or something. Oh, away. What's funny is that cooling tower almost looks like a VAB now. As a result of where I put it. Unintentionally. But yeah, that's the idea. So let's get this going before I take too much more time. Hell is that noise? Oh, that's the combustor. I was right next to it. I was like, oh my god! I hear fire! Yeah, no, yeah, that's intentional fire. That's good fire. Stupid airflow. Pushing me around. What a bully. And I wanted a big control room, one, because the uplinks are huge, they're too high and they're big, and I want them inside so I can control them. And two, just so that we can see the rocket launches. So I don't, you know, because being able to actually see the rocket launches would be pretty cool. So we need more steel sheets, and I'm sure I'm going to need more flat walls, but let's do the steel sheets first. No, you know, the pollutants never really got pulled because the room's pressurized. Let's filter them out. 2 more liters of water for a total of 11 liters available for drinking. The combuster and the condenser is still working, I think. They're still 12 MPa. There's 650 moles of steam. Oh god, that's not a good sound! That was Clang loading up the cannon. What's the base temperature set at? 23, 24? You're worried that it's creeping up? It might be creeping up a little bit, but it's only set to 23. No, it's 23 over here. It's just 24 over here. There isn't perfect airflow, so like the further I get from the air conditioner, the warmer it gets. It's otherwise not a problem. All right, I know I'm going to need a bunch of flat walls, but let's get these at least installed and then figure out where we go from there. So waste tank. How did my filter get damaged? It's a very fine question. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Maybe when I took my suit off, some of the oxygen in the room like went through it or something. I don't know. Or pollutant. Whatever the case is, not my problem anymore. Bye-bye, filter. Hello, son. Sun's coming back. Now, I think... Alright, so let's start flat walling it up, but some of these I'm going to want as, like, window walls. I don't necessarily need window walls here, because that's where the stairwell will be. So flat walls there. There aren't going to be flat walls on the other side, but, I don't know how much windows I'm going to have these be flat walls too. And then there are rolling shutter windows that I might incorporate into this design as well. Haven't really fully thought that out yet. It's food for thought. But I think maybe what I'll do is have the 2x2x2 be windowed to some degree or another. I just don't want to over-incorporate windows because it will generate heat for the base, and I don't need more heat. So, we're going to want floors here. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to want frames down here too, because I'm going to want to be able to install stuff underneath the 2x2x2. I totally blanked on that. So obviously these are going to need to be fully welded frames. Otherwise, there is no floor. Okay, so looking at this. The back wall of this, I think I'll keep flat walls. So 3 flat walls there, a flat wall there. So 4 more flat walls, and then the rest can be like windows. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, wait, 4, 8, 12, 16 windows? So 4 flat walls, 16 windows, I think is the correct count. Let's go with that. And then windows will be on the outside, and I'll probably put shutter windows on the inside or something like that. As a after the fact installation, not first pass. All pressures look fine. CO2 is creeping up, but that's like very much by design. The temperature's creeping up though, so I'm going to turn off the intakes for that, so that the temperatures can normalize. So let's get those windows made, and then all the things to install the windows done too. Which is like 16 plastic, 16 glass. In addition to the 16 windows. So I believe that's the flat walls I need. And now we just want the normal walls. And I don't need to be carrying these stairs around with me, because there will be a time and a place to install those. And I'll be installing them inside, not outside. And I'm just doing some cleanup while the walls print up. Put my paint away. One thing I am certainly going to be out of, I just realized, is silicon, unless I have any hiding. So I need 16 plastic sheets and 16 glass, and I don't have enough silicon to accommodate that. I only have one plastic sheet over in storage, which isn't helpful. So we'll have to grab a little silicon and arc furnace it. Which is, I guess, good for nitrogen. Do I need to put walls underneath? No, I don't, because I have frames. There. That's all squared away. So I almost have everything I need for the glass, but not quite. And the water production is so slow because the coolant for it sucks. So we got 13 of 16 glass sheets. Again, close, but not all the way. So, before I even bother installing this stuff, let's go ahead and mine up some silicon real quick, because that's now the bottleneck. So, my food and water is a little low, but it should be fine. Because this is just a quick trip. Looking for the SI. There's some. I think? No, that's silver. I'm sure I'm going to need more minerals, but I'm just going to get the bare minimum now just so to finish this project, and then I can circle back to do more later. I just don't want to take the time at the moment. But I must say those sensor goggles have paid off in a big way. Does the hardened suit jetpack offer any advantage to the basic one? Oh, that totally reminds me. I meant to mention why I'm using a hard suit, not a harm suit. So there's a new suit called a harm suit, which is even tougher than the hard suit. So the hard suit is like a high solar heating, low thermal convection, right? Low thermal radiation. And then there's the harm suit, which is much better protection, but you can't jetpack with it. It doesn't fly because you can't. It has a back slot already, which means you can't jet, which is why I went with hard, not harm. Harm suits would allow me to, like, stand outside in a solar storm, but, like, that would be the only advantage, which is why I didn't even bother. And I had forgotten to mention that. So as far as the backs go, maybe I can just pop this open as a demo while I'm waiting on the silicon. So you've got the hard mining backpack, which is just like a giant ore backpack, additional to a belt. I didn't really cover all the potential that we could have used. Then you've got the hard suit backpack, which is just a big storage backpack. Again, no flying. You've got the hard suit jetpack. One of the reasons I didn't make this is it's a lot of high alloys, 8, 8, and 8, and it really, I mean, it has more space, but apart from that, it's like capable of higher speeds, meaning it's really good at killing you, right? All you do is you smash into solid objects at higher speeds and die more gloriously. So yeah, it would be great for the, I mean, I obviously I could lower the thrust or whatever. I could print this up for the extra space. I just didn't bother because I was being cheap and decided not to have to go through more super alloy production if I ran out. But it is certainly not to say that it wouldn't be in my advantage. I thought the first stack of, maybe it was 14, not 16. I thought it was 16. Well, let's get the rest of the glass. So, 3 more glass. And now I think we have everything to be able to finish the externals. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I need food and water. You can mix and match as much as you want, sure. I have the basic jetpack and a hard suit right now, so I'm already mixing and matching. Gonna have to make new bread soon. Put that off for later. It's funny that I have to wear a jet suit just to go through my airlock between 2 oxygenated sections, because this airlock would kill me, or not kill me, but like damage my lungs otherwise. Okay, flat walls first. And then I just want to double check that I've like covered every face, because I do not need Vulcan atmosphere mixing with base's oxygen and going kablamo and blowing me sky high and ending the run. Or rather, forcing me to save scum for the first time ever. So the steel floors are remaining steel floors, or the steel frame floors, so I don't need the floors, which is what I was saying before. So at this point, it's all going to be windows on the outside, and then maybe shutters eventually on the inside. It really depends on whether the base's air conditioner can keep up with the windows. If I don't need the shutters, maybe I don't add them. I'm not really sure yet. It entirely depends on base's AC. But this is like a air traffic controller, if you will, or observation deck for rocketry. It's not strictly needed, but it is nice to be able to see your rockets go vroom when they blast off and land. So that's why I wanted it. Shutters are automated, yes. You can automate them. That is the advantage. So there will be a shutter control. So what I'm referring to is this. Almost spelled that bad. The composite window shutters. The composite window shutters are essentially windows that have like a metal shutter that opens and closes to prevent, solar radiation heating things up. And then it's connected to a controller, which is just like a little interface of open, close. That's it. And that's all it does. Very cool, but that's all it does. It just looks sweet, which is why I might incorporate it, but like probably in a first pass, because I don't need to add complexity to first rocketry. In other words. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow engineers.